Hey, I hope you're having a great day. It is unfortunately still snowing out here, so I thought I would bring you down into my mechanical room and give you a little bit of a tour of what I have growing under the lights. So you have to forgive the little yellow sticky tape things. Definitely have fungus gnats this year, and that's just kind of part of growing in your basement in your house. So up first are my petunias. Overall, I'm pretty happy with how they are turning out. I got these seeds from Geo Seeds, I believe. This tray has about 40 of the easy white petunias. I left a couple in here that were blooming. I will cut these off just so that they can branch out a little bit more and get a little bit more stocky before I get them outside. They are definitely ready to move outside. I pulled up the soil blocks yesterday, and I'm not sure if you can see underneath, but they are definitely ready to make their way outside. We just need the weather to warm up a little bit. And in fact, if I can get that greenhouse set up, I'll probably harden the petunias off. I have more petunias in this tray. This is a 72 cell tray. Half are Easy Wave Pink, and they are very pretty. I was hoping these would be similar to Supertunia Vista bubblegums as far as the number of flowers on each plant and how wide they get. So this will be a good test to see if they actually perform similar. The other petunias in this tray are the Easy Wave Plum Vein. Those are really pretty. Very happy with those. I need to trim off some of the buds in here as well. And then the last petunias that I grew are a bit of a disappointment. These were the Pearly Shades. They are a different variety than the Easy Wave, and I was hoping to have an entire flat of these, and they did not germinate very well at all. And you can see they're actually struggling a little bit. They need to be fertilized, and hopefully they'll rebound. But I have maybe 15, 20 of them, so I will need to come up with a new plan of where I'm going to put these, but still good to try, figure out how things work. Also in this tray I have ponytail grass, and I'm hoping to use this as a filler in some of the bouquets that we're going to make. And then the last 15 cells here on the end, I have one spearmint plant. My plan for this was to actually put this in a bunch of the pots on our deck, because there are certain bugs that do not enjoy the smell of spearmint, and it's been a complete flop. I actually did reseed in here a few days ago, so I will give them another couple weeks to see if anything else germinates. Otherwise, I'm going to repot this with something different. Another success that I have been having are my ranunculus. And these have done phenomenal. In this tray I have 3 different varieties. I have the Aviv Salmon, the Aviv White, and Pink. I picked up all of these corms from a local greenhouse. And there are 40 corms planted in here, and they are looking phenomenal. These will also be some of the earliest ones that can get outside. They probably could handle our temperatures right now. I just don't have my cut flower bed prepared yet. So as soon as I get that done, then these are going to be kicked out of the house and hardened off. If you watched some of our earlier videos, I started ranunculus from seed, and this is a tray of 72. There might be a couple that we lost in here, but overall it's pretty good. And in fact, I actually planted 2 seeds per cell, and I was able to divide them. So I'll show you the third tray shortly. I have the Mache Pastel Mix, Bicolor Blue, and Magic Yellow in here. Kind of a weird range of colors, but if they work, then that is going to open the door for planting ranunculus by seed, which would be really exciting. So in this tray, I have the rest of my ranunculus, same colors. The Mache Pastel, Bicolor Blue, and some yellow. And then over on the end where I had a few extra cells, I planted my peppers. These were all old pepper seeds, and I planted them not too long ago. I have germination in 3 of them. So I have barren peppers and hot paper lantern peppers. We'll see if the rest germinate. If not, I know Dad planted a bunch this year, so that's all right. my last tray of ranunculus. There are 4, I believe these are going to be white ranunculus in this tray. I actually ordered these corms for delivery last year, 2021. The corms came after my planting season, so they wouldn't have thrived in the garden. So I actually just saved the corms all year and planted them. I probably lost about half of them, which is okay. That's kind of what I expected. Also in this tray, I have some of my cabaret onions. All right, so things are going to get a little bit different now. Over here, I have my cosmos. They all germinated, which is exciting. There are the double click pink, as well as exenia or xenia. I also have a mahogany splendor hibiscus, and these are adorable leaves. I'm really excited about those. I have about 15 cells of Sahara rudbeckia. This is an annual rudbeckia for us. It looks like I'm probably going to be able to divide these if I need to. In the last 2 rows, I have a perennial blue sage. This tray is a bit spotty. In the first 2 rows, I have celosia. It's Selway white, and I bought the seed last year, so I'm missing 2 cells, which is fine. Then I have a fairly large section of Carnation Chabot La France, and that germination is not great. Again, these are seeds that are a year old, so that's probably what I should expect. And the asters were kind of a failure this year. So I had 18 chamois asters, and I might get 8 plants out of here. And I have one lone tower violet aster, which they are beautiful flowers, but both the aster seeds were also old. So lesson to myself, buy seeds and plant them the same year. All right, so this tray looks kind of ugly. It's got a little bit of mold on the top, but these are my Lysianthus. I have a few little pots where I planted them up or potted them up. They were looking a little bit droopy and sad, so I thought perhaps they wanted to be bumped up. We'll see if they make it. I've lost a few since my early update, but I still have more than I had last year, so I'm counting this as a win. They're getting a little bit taller, and they're looking, for the most part, pretty good. I'm excited to get these outside. Similar to the ranunculus, the Lysianthus don't mind a little bit of cold or cool weather. This next tray is all scabiosa. This will go in the cut flower garden as well. I have a complete failure of my lilac scabiosa. Not a single one germinated. So either it's old seed, it's low germination seed, I did something wrong, or maybe I didn't even plant them in here. It's hard to say. Then I have a few rows of Snow Maiden. It's a beautiful white scabiosa. I'm looking forward to seeing that. I have a few rows of Oxford Blue. This is old seed as well, so I'm not shocked that the germination is pretty poor. And then I have Dark Night Scabiosa, and this was new seed. So the 2 that for sure were new seed had 100% germination. Okay, so this tray, oh, my poor snapdragons. So I planted, I would say, 120 of these teeny tiny little, I'll pick one up. These teeny tiny little soil blocks. I mean, they're just tiny. I planted about 120 of those with snapdragons, thinking I would try to do successions of them. And I let them dry out too long. I think I might have went 2 days without watering them. I had a lot of damage in 80 of the cells. So you can see over here on the left, these actually survived and look pretty good. They could use a little bit of fertilizer and potting up. I'm guessing they are coming out the bottom. Yep. It's time to bump these up to a bigger container. So I went in and actually reseeded everything in this tray just a few weeks ago. That's why they're tiny. But I had pretty good germination with all of my snapdragons. So hopefully I can keep an eye on these and they will grow a little bit faster. I'm excited about the varieties that I have this year. These are my favorite flower last year, so I'm really excited to add a few new varieties this year. I planted Madame Butterfly Pink, Lemon, Madame Butterfly Bronze, Cherry Rose, Madame Butterfly Red, Apple Blossom, Madame Butterfly Ivory, Madame Butterfly Bronze with white, and a few of my old Costa Silvers. So I'm really excited. These are all going to go into the cut flower garden, and I hope they bring many, many, many blooms this summer. So I will stick with the snapdragons. I, for some reason, thought my snapdragons were pretty much blooming almost all year last year, but I know I've seen other growers that will do successions of them. So I actually did another succession of these just about a week ago. I believe these 120 that I planted were just the same varieties. I used up what I had for seeds, and hopefully I'll have a second flush of them. I have a few amaranth called Love Lies Bleeding, and these will be really beautiful trailing out of bouquets or in arrangements. I planted more Mahogany Splendor hibiscus because I forgot that I already had some. These plants get huge, and I wasn't really planning on having 10 of them. We'll have to try to find somewhere that I can put these. Over here, I have Green Drops Grass. These are really cute. Again, this will be a filler in bouquets and arrangements. And then over in this far corner, I have some Genovese basil. I will use this both in our raised bed gardens as well as in arrangements. I absolutely loved using basil in some of our arrangements last year. It was beautiful, it held up well, and it smelled really good too. So on this side, we have amethyst basil. Another great use for basil is making your own pesto. So for the past couple of years, we'll gather up all the remaining basil, run it through the food processor with a few other ingredients, and make our own pesto that we can freeze. So I don't mind having a few extra basils. Then I have stock, and this I believe is called Seeker Blue. This is my first time growing stock this year, and I'm kind of excited about it. It's a beautiful flower. All right, another tray where it's really hard to see things. I have 3 blocks of stock. I have vintage brown, double white, and apricot. Now, I believe you can actually go in and prune out your stock so that you're only getting the double varieties, and you base it based on the color, the height, and how the leaves are formed. I'm not going to do that. So mine will probably be a mix of both double and single, and I'm okay with that for this year. Maybe next year I'll look into trimming out so I only get the really frilly, bushy double varieties, but I'm okay just seeing how this grows this year. In the front 2 cells here, I planted Sunny Reggae mix of dahlia seeds. So the thing about dahlia seeds is you don't know what the dahlias are going to look like. They could look like the parent dahlias. They might look like a distant cousin. They might have no resemblance whatsoever. They could be singles or doubles, tall, short, any variety of colors. You're not guaranteed to know what you're planting with dahlia seeds. However, if you plant your dahlia seeds and you get this beautiful flower that you absolutely love, you can take cuttings from that flower, you can save the tuber, and both those options will grow you the same dahlia, a replica of the beautiful one that you loved. So I thought it might be kind of fun to try a couple dahlia seeds and see what they turn out like. This lonely little plant here is a powwow wildberry coneflower. I absolutely love this plant. I saved seeds from mine last year and I got one of them to germinate. So we'll see if it actually looks like its mother plant. In the 2 on the top of the screen here, I have lobelia. I have a lilac color and a midnight blue. These are tiny little seeds, so I'm not sure if you can actually tell, but there's a carpet of green. It's almost impossible for me to plant 1 seed per cell or take the time to do it. So those will require a little bit of thinning out. At the bottom of your screen, the last 2 blocks or sets of blocks are foxglove. I have a Camelot mix on the right and Dalmatian. I have a couple Dalmatian peach in here. Not too many, but just a few that I wanted to try. This tray, and I know it's way too early for these, is a little bit of an experiment. These are sunflowers. And my plan for sunflowers is to put them in the cut flower bed and to try really hard to plant different successions of them so that I have them throughout the second half of summer. I've been watching and listening to Lisa Mason Ziegler on the Gardener's Workshop channel, I believe, and she believes that we can push the envelope a little bit on how early we can get sunflowers outside. We're, to be honest, having a pretty crappy spring, and it's super cold still, so I'm not quite sure how these guys are going to fare. I was kind of hoping we'd be able to be outside around Mother's Day or the week after. Sunflowers do not like it cold, and so with this cold spring we're having, I'm not quite sure. These could be like a foot tall before I can get them outside. But I have a bunch of fun varieties in here. I tried to pick the varieties that I would like earlier in summer, so not the deep reds and the dark oranges. In here I have Pro Cut White Light, Pro Cut Gold Light, Pro Cut White Night, Premier Lemon, Buttercream, and Lemon Queen. So these should all go really well with mid-summer bouquets where you're still using some of those bright colors for summer. These are all kind of yellow, light yellows and creams. I have a couple veggies that I'm planting, and I'll show you just because they're mixed with other things. It wouldn't be a full tour without everything, right? So here are all my onions. And I believe I did a video where I planted up onions, and these were the only ones that came up. And they are super strong. I have to trim all my onions about every week, maybe week and a half. But I try to keep them about 5 inches tall until I can plant them outside. My onion seed was actually old, so I picked up a couple extra packets of Sweet Spanish and Patterson, and now I think I have enough onions. I have this large casserole tinfoil pan full of Amish paste tomatoes. They look phenomenal and they need to get potted up. I needed to use the last of my Amish paste seeds up, and this did the trick. This is my buffet of different plants, so I will push it back and just kind of show you. I have 2 pots of rosemary. Rosemary's not doing well. It's kind of about the same as my spearmint. I did plant a second wave of seeds in these containers, so I will give them a few more weeks to see if they do anything. Otherwise, I'm going to probably put these into smaller containers and free up some space. Similar story for my allium. You can look really hard in here and still see nothing. So I will give this one another week, and then I'm going to toss it. In here I have one little coneflower powwow wildberry variety. This one I actually have hope for. This is my 1 seed challenge, and I planted the black strawberry tomato. So I actually just planted this a couple days ago. I would not expect there to be anything yet. And then the last of my sad buffet tray here. This is a Magic Fountain Delphinium. So I actually have one in here. The rest of these look pretty good. I have a couple Sun Gold cherry tomatoes. I have a few more Magic Fountain Delphiniums. The leaves are so pretty on these. I have 3 more pots of petunias. I believe these are, actually I don't know if I have a color. I labeled it petunia or delphinium. They're petunias, so I'm not sure what color these are, but I have 3 of those. I have beefsteak tomatoes in 2 of the containers. I have a few eggplants. This is the Nubio variety. I have 2 German pink tomatoes. This is Copenhagen cabbage, and I have 2 of those in here. That looks really good. That's another cool season plant that I can get outside pretty fast. Then I have some tango celery, and this looks really good. It's a little bit dirty. I forgot my last tray of recently planted flowers for the cut flower garden. This is full of larkspur, and I believe this needs dark and cold to germinate, so I have it under a cover, kind of down away from the heat mats. I planted the Fancy Pink with White variety, QIS Light Pink, Misty Lavender, and Splish Splash. I forgot the last thing. This is my daughter's green ice lettuce that she planted in here about a week ago, and this is for one of her 4-H projects where she has to give a little bit of a talk and demo speech next month. So she's tracking the growth, tracking how she did it, and it actually is growing really well. So that's what I have planted and growing in my grow room as of mid to late April. I'm hoping to get some of this stuff outside into my temporary greenhouse. I hope wherever you are, you have a little bit warmer climate and you're starting to see more growth, maybe some more flowers on your stuff. Let me know what you grew this year, what worked well, what didn't work, what you're going to try next year. And hopefully in the next video I'll be showing you what I'm bumping out to the greenhouse and maybe starting a new round of flowers. We're coming up on our 4 weeks away from our last frost, which means I can start zinnias and a bunch of other vegetables. So we're getting close. I hope Mother Nature gets the memo and we can get outside and start planting things soon. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed my little grow room tour, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.